working as a manager at Celtic Park. When we met you, we picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. And Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. And Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh, oh.
What is happening for me? What is happening, people? Welcome back to another one of these weekly live shows every Monday, 8 p.m. Today, as things stand, and currently joined by two fabulous guests. Also, another Newcastle fan join us later. Firstly, regular on the show, Travis. How you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Nice to meet you. Is that Bazar?
Baz, yeah, Barry, dickhead, whatever you want to call me, mate.
Fair enough. Yeah, no.
Have you been keeping well, Travis?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Yeah, obviously very happy with the result yesterday. It's the best I've seen us play within the last 5 games. So, and the way we played was just outstanding. So, yeah, I'm a happy Tottenham fan.
I'm sure you're not the only one right now. Can't say quite the same about Newcastle's fans, can I, Baz? How you been?
Yeah, it's been an up and down day, having to do overtime for 12 hours after a result like that. It's not how I wanted to go to work bouncing. But, yeah, fully deserved, to be fair.
Thank you. Fair enough. There you go. It's a long trip as well for Newcastle fans.
I feel so sorry for them.
I absolutely do. A lot of sympathy with them. Big up to Tony early, Newcastle fan who's meant to be coming on but couldn't make the show. Not a problem. Big up Barney. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Nige. Big up. And big up as well once again. Barney, reminder, if you are listening live on YouTube, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. It helps the channel and the show grow. If you like what you're seeing, leave a like and always get involved in the comments because your opinion matters here at the channel. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, don't forget to give us a follow and 5-star review. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out our new partners, Security VPN. And I'm proud to say as well, after positive discussions today, and not linked to our partnership, but we're launching some new potentially some podcasts and channel merch like a Spurs kit, which I'm really excited about. So more on that towards the end of the show. But let's crack straight into it. Travis, going to come to you and start with the lineup. You know, what were your thoughts on the lineup before the game? Any surprises in there? Because Sarr came in for Højbjerg and Richarlison came in for Lo Celso.
Yeah, really happy with the lineup, to be fair. The minute I saw Sarr back in the starting 11, I knew it was going to be a good game. The guy is just, you know, he's playing so well. You know, he's trying to prove his point and obviously be a full first in the starting 11. Højbjerg's hit and miss, really, isn't he? You know, I mean, his last game where we lost against was it Villa? I don't know, he was too convincing, but you know, I've always rated Højbjerg. He has more good games than bad games, but obviously he hasn't been playing consistent recently. I think Sarr he's definitely the more chosen one at the moment. But yeah, great start in 11. It's a shame to see Lo Celso get dropped, obviously after scoring his goal against Man City.
Yeah.
But I think Lo Celso, he slows the game down too much, and you know you can kind of see he's not he's not the sort of player for the Premier League, which pains me to say because I had high expectations with him. Obviously, when him and Tanguy and Ndombele come in, but if he's not ready for the Premier League, then hopefully we'll sell him come the January transfer window. But yeah, I think that with what Ange's got to play with at the moment, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. I mean, I know there's lots and lots of fans moaning about he's chosen starting 11s for the last couple of matches, but he can only go with obviously what he's got. It's his first season. He done immaculate in his first transfer window. I can't complain about that at all. He had the best transfer window than any three of our last managers put together. Obviously, within Mourinho, Conte, and Poch. So yeah, I think and he plays attacking football, which is what every Tottenham fan wanted from the beginning. So yeah, I've got a lot of faith in Ange, and he's 100% the right manager to watch Tottenham Hotspur go forward.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Baz, talk to me about Newcastle lineup, because obviously I think it's similar to what we all expected, but we saw on the bench Callum Wilson and Longstaff on the bench. What was your reaction when you saw them on the bench?
Oh, I was buzzing. I heard they could be back, and I didn't want to, put the jeepers on it. And I was just like, please, please, please be back. And they are back. They're not fully fit. What can we say about our lineup? It's the same lineup in the last 5 games. They've played 5 games in the last 15 days. So
yeah, crazy.
I know fatigue. You should never really blame it, but it's played a part. You could tell in our performance, which we'll come on to later on. But Eddie Howe he's stuck with what we've got. Bodies are starting to slowly come back, and having, like I say, Longstaff and Wilson on the bench was a boost. It really was. It could give me a bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely understandable as well. I also welcome him in Philip from Tomb Tactics TV. Philip, you doing good?
How you gentlemen doing? All well? Apologies for the delay.
No, don't be silly. Not a problem at all. Nice to have you in here. Kind of to bring you in, though, on this conversation. What were your thoughts when you saw that Newcastle starting 11?
Positive. Longstaff, Wilson back on the bench. Obviously, essentially for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'll say if anyone in the Premier League can name Newcastle's lineup, because it's been the same for the last period of time. You don't have to be a Newcastle supporter to know that. So it's good to have them return. This is probably I call it a squeaky bum time for Newcastle. Obviously, League Cup coming in, Champions League coming in, big games. Obviously, we had against Tottenham, and further big games to follow. So it's all about whether we can get players back in time. So seeing Longstaff, seeing Wilson, very, very positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. And now moving on to the goals. Travis, coming to you first. Our first goal scored by Destiny Udogie, assisted by Son. What did you make of your goal, and what do you make of our start?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. We played really well both halves as well, both 45 minutes. Normally we're a second half team, but obviously that's not been happening as of late. But I just want to make one comment about the Newcastle team. Like, I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm also a football fan. Obviously, given the correct teams, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But Newcastle have got one of the best squads in that Premier League. But they're tired. They're so tired. They've just played Champions League football. They've never really had Champions League football before. But you can see they're tired. Obviously, Nick Pope, their number one goalkeeper's out. They've had to obviously go with Dubravka. But when you're on form, you're immense, absolutely immense. Such a good squad. That's the only bit of positive you're going to get from me on this podcast.
There's 13 players missing. You know what I mean? We can actually field an out 11, and that 11 would probably finish mid-table in the Premier League quite comfortably.
When you had the likes of Obafemi Martins, what? I hated playing. Oh yeah. And I always had such a consistently good squad. You can go back years and years and years ago when you had the likes of Alan Shearer and that. You've never had a bad squad in depth anyway.
Until Ashley took over.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good to see Udogie get on the score sheet. I did read today that obviously he's been given an extension in his contract, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And he's been immense. He's been so good ever since he come from Udinese. And I've seen videos of him on YouTube playing for Udinese. He gets forwards, and he's just he's an immense defender, and he gets in between where he needs to be as well. And I've got to say, brilliant to see Richie on the score sheet as well. We have waited for weeks, months for him to start banging in goals. And I'm really happy for him. It's good to see him scoring. Positivity for him, and hopefully, forevermore he can carry on scoring goals. I've never said, I wanted him to be sold. I've seen people on Twitter say, send him to the Arabic for 70, 80 million. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to play for Spurs. You can see it. But why he plays Kulusevski out on the wing, I don't know. He's much better in the middle going forwards. It should be him and Bentancur in the middle. But I don't think we have one bad player on the team yesterday. I really don't. I thought Basuma was good. I thought Sarr was brilliant. Everyone played their part yesterday. So
For me, it's a really good performance, and it was nice to see Son playing on the left. I think he's more effective there. Kulusevski in the middle, more effective there, and generally a really good performance. Sarr was back as well, so there was a lot of improvements made from that West Ham game, and we went out there and got the job done. Baz, our second goal, again another assist by Son, scored by Richarlison. Is there for you anything more Newcastle can do defensively? Because in the end, Richarlison had a lot of space to turn and shoot.
I think the first goal, yes, Bruno didn't track back properly. The ball got in between the keeper and the cells. I thought his positioning was a bit poor. The second goal, Trippier did everything he could to push him out wide. Ultimately tripped over, didn't he? And Son had him on toast all that first half. And I talked about it with you after the game. I thought Son was absolutely phenomenal. And you targeted Trippier all game. He went down the left-hand side and tore him a new one. And you could tell at 33, playing 5 games in 15 days is caught up with trips. So you exploited it perfectly. As for the second goal, could we have done anything better? I don't think so. No, I think it was just a well-made goal. Took advantage of Trippier, got round him with pace. He hit the ball back with pace, and Richarlison just had to stab it in. But I tell you what, though, this always happens to Newcastle, right? Every time someone doesn't score goals, they score a brace or a hat-trick against Newcastle when they play them next. So I wouldn't get too excited about Richarlison scoring goals yet, because Darwin Núñez did it at St James's Park, and he's been a flop ever since that game. So don't get too excited yet.
We'll have to see, Travis. We'll have to wait and see. But Philip, talk to me. Do you think either of the first 2 goals that we scored, is there anything Newcastle can do defensively?
Yeah. They could have, I think, but what makes our team work, obviously, we try to be front pressing, we try to push, defend from the front. But in order to do that, this is Eddie Howe says, intensity is our identity. And for whatever reason, we lack that intensity. I know people are saying fatigue, but Eddie Howe's not saying that. Alan Shearer's not saying that. And there's a debate even amongst ex-professionals about whether, footballers should be able to play 2-3 games a week or not, and current players as well. So it's all up for debate. I'm on the side of just it was football. But in terms of preventing the goals, I said it in my pre-match analysis that I felt that, and I keep on saying, I think Tottenham plays similar, not the same, but similar to Dortmund in terms of how you attack, and in terms of how your wingers invert, how you flood the midfield, how your defenders push forward. You got Ramos, obviously very, very good. I didn't realize Ben Davies was that good on the ball either.
Nor did I.
Yeah, he was doing Perlo long balls. I couldn't believe my eyes. And so when I started seeing that, and then he hitting the wings, and I thought, well, in order to prevent that, Isak, Gordon, Almiron have to block the passing channels, have to shut them down, and they weren't doing that. And so as soon as it gets so from that part, we can stop it. But as soon as it gets to Son, one-on-one and Trippier, there's not much you can do about that. And I think it was a very skillful tactically from Ange to put Son on the left. I thought he was good. I was preparing for Son to go through the centre. I said, okay, maybe we can take him on there. But he went through the left. He went against Trippier. And he had them on toast both the times. I think, again, not taken away from it, I think Lascelles injured himself just before that incident. And I think the commentators were saying that he could have stretched his leg, but he didn't. But look, it was a great goal. Like that's all I can say. Yeah, small margins. That's it.
And don't forget, it was a very small margin that kept you in the game at the very start, because Isak had the massive chance. If it wasn't for Ben Davies' outstretched foot and put him off, he got that slight deflection on it, you would have been 1-0 down with your heads in your hands, thinking, how the hell are we 1-0 down in this game?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's all about fine margins in football, and it's such a faint touch from Davis, but it makes a massive difference.
I thought Gordon should have took it himself. Shot across.
I was surprised he didn't put it in the corner, because Vicario was expecting it to go across. For me, you took it in that corner away from the keeper. I think it personally goes in, but it nearly
saves it. He palms it out, and Isak gets a tap in.
Well, that's personally what at the time I was thinking that it should have been done, but nearly resulted in a goal. Ben Davies done really well to get back, because he looked like he was beat at one point. But 2-0 at half-time, Baz. What were your thoughts going into it? Because obviously we've seen a lot in that first 45. Did you ever think that Newcastle get back in the game 2-0 half-time? You got Longstaff and Wilson back on the bench.
I did. I thought 3 changes should have been made straight away. I thought Trippier should have come off, Lewis come on, Lewis to left, Tino to right, take Miley off and put Longstaff on, and take Isak off and put Wilson on. That would have been my changes. You'd made them later on, but we started the second half very brightly. That first 10 minutes, that was the old Newcastle. But the problem is...
I was worried the first 10 minutes.
Exactly. The problem is they used all of their energy in that 10 minutes. And when we didn't score, and then when we made the mistake and you score again, that flattened us completely. And it killed the game. But we had that 10-minute period. I thought, ooh, this is better. And then no goal, go 3-0 down, game's over.
Yeah, exactly. Again, so fine margins in football. All happens too quickly for anyone who can react. Travis, as a Spurs fan, what were your thoughts at half-time? 2-0 up? Did you have that in the back of your mind? It's only 2-0 at half-time. Did you ever think Newcastle got back into it, or not for you?
Listen, every single Tottenham fan were biting their nails come half-time. I know I was. I'm surprised I had any fingernails left, because the way we've been playing recently, I honestly thought Newcastle were going to come out of the second half and run us off the pitch. There would have been a high percentage of Tottenham fans sitting on their sofas at half time, thinking, "Shit, I need another beer." I know I was. But yeah, as I said to you before, we played brilliant both halves, and obviously that's been very different as of late. We played well for 25, 30 minutes and then just completely died a death. What's changed? I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure I wasn't the only Tottenham fan sitting there at half time wondering whether or not to watch the second half or put on a bit of Netflix or something, But yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy with the way we performed. But you never know with Spurs. My dad said it for years. It's the Tottenham way. And I'm kind of coming to terms with that now. But long may it live on.
Yeah, no, exactly. Spot on. Thank you.
All I'll say is don't get too ahead of yourselves. You played a very, very tired Newcastle team. Yes, you played us off the park, and you deserve to.
3 points is 3 points.
3 points is 3 points. Exactly. Then you've got to play the next game, haven't you? And then you see, will you be able to put that performance together again? You still play that high line. We still should have scored 3 or 4 goals. So
yeah, exactly, and we'll get onto it towards the end of the show, because Nottingham Forest as well. The way they play, will we get as many chances? Will it be as easy? I don't know. Philip, coming to you. 2-0 at half-time. What were your thoughts? Were you like Baz thinking, let's make the changes and get back in the game?
I thought we was lucky to get in at 2-0. I was begging for the half-time to get on. I was worried that it was going to be 3-4 before half-time. I was wondering whether... I didn't think Eddie Howe was going to make the changes. I think especially with players that are coming back after the injury, he would ease them back in, and he'll be thinking about the Milan game. It's not straight away, but he'll be thinking about, okay, I want to get some minutes into Longstaff. I want to get some minutes into Wilson, and that wasn't going to happen until about the 60th minute. We started off. I was hoping for obviously a bit of a resurgence, unlike the Everton game, where I think all the goals came in the second half, or the second half. And this obviously, so we had a chance to come back. So I was having that hope. But I think after the 10 minutes, again, it seemed the way Tottenham played very expansive. Like the pitch will look so massive. You stretch the play, you did long, short, long ball, your one-touch football on the wings. It was exemplary football. It was very, very good. I wouldn't worry too much about Nottingham Forest. If you do that, you'll be fine against Nottingham Forest.
I hope you're right. Thank you very much. Travis, third goal, Richarlison again. This time, not being funny, it's a beautiful ball by Porro. Put on the plate for Richarlison. Takes a heavy touch. It looked like he squandered the opportunity. For me, anyway, Dubravka makes a bit of a mess of it. Doesn't know to come or stay. For me as a keeper, you've got to commit to one or the other. I personally think stay back because he doesn't make himself big and it's easy just to put it through his legs. So, Travis, from a Spurs point of view, what do you make of the goal? Is there anything more Dubravka could have done?
Obviously, Nick Pope's obviously been their number one goalkeeper, and obviously I don't think Dubravka's had much game time really. No. But as a goalkeeper, you should know to obviously come out and try and defend the ball as well as you can. Richarlison, I've always been on the fence with him scoring goals, but I've always been a bit more concerned with his first touch. His first touch has always let him down, whether it's holding the ball up or taking the ball forwards. But Pedro Porro, as Kevin Stanbridge has just said there, he's getting better and better. And he was absolutely brilliant for who's the team he come from that Marcus Edwards plays for? I can't think we come from now.
Who's that?
Who did Porro come from? He plays for
Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon, yeah, he played brilliant from there. So I was always excited for him to obviously come and play for Tottenham. But for years we've always been terrible at set pieces. Whether that's a free kick or a corner.
That's for sure.
And Pedro Porro, he's I think he solved it for us. But we've now got a mix of people that are good at set pieces, whether that's Sonny, Kulusevski or Pedro Porro. But Pedro Porro, he's a baller, mate, and I'm happy to have him at Spurs.
Okay, fair enough. Philip, what do you make of our third goal? Is there anything Dubravka could have done? For me, he was quite poor for that.
No, absolutely. I think he made Richarlison's mind up for him by coming out like that. You have to, if you're going to come out, you have to come out fully. You can't change your mind. And it just made it. I can almost imagine what was going through Richarlison's head. Oh, it's coming now. This could be my opportunity. But what if I miss? I could really miss. He's come off this line. He's come off his line. Thank goodness. And then he just slots it in. And it just made it really, really easy for Richarlison. And I think if that hadn't gone in, again, it's at 2-0. We've got about, 25, 30 minutes to go. And things are a bit edgy. So it was unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, we will answer your questions towards the end, and everybody put their questions forward for the panel earlier on Twitter, so we kept that towards the end of the show. Baz, talk to me about our goals. It really is, it's a good ball from Porro over the top. It seemed too easy, I think, for me anyway, looking at it as a Spurs point of view. Anything defensively you could have done, or especially the goalkeeper, Dubravka?
Oh, loads. Can you go back to one of your little things that you said of this? Someone said about only 3 players would out of our injured list would get into the starting 11.
I thought you wouldn't bring that up.
Vernon Botman. I mean, come on, Chris. What about Nick Pope? What about Sven Botman, Joe Willock, Harvey Barnes? I mean, he's got Botman in there. There's 6 or 7 of our starting 11 could easily get into the team that we've got. So come on, Chris, mate.
Longstaff, Tonali.
Longstaff, I mean, Longstaff is back on the bench, wasn't he? Tonali's suspended, we know that. But to say there's only 3, that's mental. I love it. Chris doesn't watch a lot of Newcastle, does he?
Harvey Barnes is a massive miss for you guys.
Exactly.
He's played brilliant.
Yeah, there's so many. Longstaff's a huge miss because he's the one who does our press so well. He's the
Chris has named the 3 he thinks are starters are Pope, Burn, and Botman.
Yeah, but that's wrong. That'd be completely wrong. There's at least 6, definitely 6, easily. Going back to your goals, that ball over the top doesn't happen if Lascelles isn't hobbling, to be honest with you. I think the ball's all right. but again, he should be cutting that out.
It's a very simple ball over the box.
Yeah, exactly.
As a defender, I'd be disappointed if I don't deal with that.
Exactly. And then Dubravka come and go. Like you said, you commit. You either wipe him out with the ball or you stay on your line and take your chance of saving his effort, because his first touch wasn't great. It would have pushed him wide, which would have made the angle very difficult.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, what was the fourth goal again? That was who scored the fourth?
Richarlison.
So that was the fourth penalty.
The third was Richarlison. The fourth was
the fourth one was
sorry.
Dubravka brought it down. So actually, now we're getting onto it, Babs. What did you make of that penalty for you? And what is Dubravka doing?
It's a penalty all day long in live view. Some people says he died, but if there's contact, you're going to go down the way that he flew out at him. It was just again a rush of blood. He shouldn't have done it, and he makes it 4-0, and it makes it embarrassing a little bit. Apparently, Dubravka is also nursing a shoulder injury as well, which is just fantastic, isn't it? No one knew about that. It's just where's all this coming from? So yeah, I was very confident about Dubravka being in goal after seeing him against Man City in the Carabao Cup, then at Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup, played brilliantly. Comes to Spurs and Everton, he made a mistake for the third goal in my eyes, and then these two last night. I think we need a new keeper very quickly.
What about Karius? Would you play him in the next game?
I like Karius. I actually like him. I watched him in a friendly against the Saudi Arabia 11, whoever it was, when we went over to Saudi Arabia, and he pulled off. We should have been losing that game by half time. We ended up winning it 2-0 or something, but he got a great first half. And I'm thinking, all right, that's the Karius that we know. He's actually quite a good goalkeeper.
I think he is a good goalkeeper. He just mistakes tend to cover up people's perception of him. So.
Well, one massive mistake where apparently he had slight concussion in the Champions League final, wasn't it? And everyone remembers that, and they've not let it go. So, yeah.
It's a shame Nick Pope's out, really, because he's played really well, guys. And I think he's done his shoulder, isn't he? Or is his shoulder been...
just dislocated it. He's out for the rest of the season.
See, the thing with that happened to Lloris a few years ago when we had Hugo Lloris, and he was
against Brighton when we lost 3-0 because he fell into the back of the goal, dislocated his shoulder and conceded the goal. I
remember that. Never really the same goalkeeper when he came back.
Second time it happened to him. Second time, same shoulder.
There you go.
So he's 32, 33 now, Pope, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I put a tweet out there saying, should we get David De Gea till the end of the season on a 6-month contract?
Absolutely, go for it, yeah.
I don't see why not.
Honestly, up and down our fan base on De Gea, massively not sure. Yeah. Well, no, we need a younger one, we need this, we need that. And I'm like, just for 6 months until we can get to the summer.
Yeah, Champions League as well, big stage. I think De Gea knows what that's all about. Travis. So, fourth goal was from the spot through Son. Our first penalty since Harry Kane left. So, as he's going out to take it, do you think he'd score it, or do you think he was going to miss it?
We go back to Harry Kane, don't we? Where we depended on Harry Kane so much, with everything.
Let's not worry about Harry Kane. The past is the past.
No, but it was said in the press conference last night when they were interviewing Sonny, and Harry Kane was mentioned because the press just can't help themselves.
Brilliant response from them. So we give him a ring.
I'd like to see Richie take it so he could have got his hat trick. I think that would have done him the world of good. But Sonny's
if he missed.
Well, no, I've never got any doubt that Sonny's going to miss a penalty. I always had more doubt that Harry Kane was going to miss a penalty.
Really? Come on.
After England, after what he was doing in England, for the England squad.
His record speaks for himself, though. It's good.
Yeah, record. I know. Yeah, of course it is. But Sonny, I'm glad he had the chance to take the pen, and obviously he scored it. Another player that his confidence is obviously going up. So yeah,
and a lot better on the left, in my opinion. A lot more effective.
Yeah.
Philip, penalty for you and Dubravka. What's he doing? Yeah,
no, absolutely a penalty. I think as Travis said it earlier, I think he's been out for a while, so I don't think his ability with Dubravka. I think he just didn't back himself. He didn't back himself for the ball overhead. He didn't back himself for the loose ball from Son. and obviously ultimately it's cost us. So yeah, I agree. I agree with Baz. I think De Gea for 6 months. I think even if a young keeper that I think we're looking at, from a Georgian young keeper that I think we're looking at, I don't think it's Eddie Howe's style to have someone come in like that and essentially fix a problem. You want him to be an upgrade and taken over, whereas De Gea fixes a problem. I think he's just I did a video on him and Pope. He's just as good as Pope in terms of saving. Obviously, he's an elite keeper. I know he had his howlers and he's not good with his feet, but Eddie Howe doesn't want keepers that are necessarily good with their feet. People don't understand that your Allisons, who are good on their feet, extraordinary shot stoppers, are so rare. It's kind of like a Rodri in the number 6 role. You usually need 2 or 3 type of players to have a Rodri. And so that's what Alisson is. And so, yeah, I think De Gea fixes a problem for us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now moving on to one man who, you know, I think it just should be discussed, and that is Christian Romero. So in the game, his late tackle, I want to know, because Gary Neville certainly thought, we get on to whether he's a liability or not first. I want to focus on the tackle first. So Travis, as a Spurs fan for you, because for me, I'm going to put it out here, it's a red card. He's not the first time he's got away with it. You know, he's lost his head again. It's frustration. And I don't know if he even has any intent on winning the ball. That's the worrying thing. So Travis, for you, yellow card, red card, is that a case where we need an orange card? What do you reckon?
Listen,
no
not that. Go on.
I'm not even going to comment on Gary Neville. I can't stand the bloke.
All right, no worries.
He's never got anything good to say about Tottenham, right? And he just joins a list of many other pundits that do not like Tottenham Hotspur. Anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
Christian Romero has got a screw loose. Massively. He really has. You know, to me, and I'm probably going to get absolutely caned for this, but he's the best centre back in the Premier League. In my opinion, in so many ways. But should it have been a red? Yes, because the player was still on the floor when he went to receive the ball. Was Kevin put on there? No, red, didn't lose his head, just mistimed it for me. Wally Wilson made more of it on the spot.
Thanks for that.
Kevin to take his Tottenham glasses off that lad, don't he?
we need to get this Kevin on a podcast.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he did lose his head, but that's what Christian Romero does. But I think under Ange, he's going to learn not to. You know, I mean, I loved it when Vicario was laughing in Wilson's face. He's another one that's got a screw loose. But we need players like that. You know, it's comical. You know, but yeah, for me, it was a red because I can't remember what player it was, but the player's still on the floor.
Wilson, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So and
just starting to get up.
Yeah, the way he lunged in was a bit naughty. So how he hasn't seen red there, but obviously he's only just come back from a suspension. So I think Ange needs to start drilling into him that you can't do that.
Especially when you're 3-0 up, weren't you, at the time?
Yeah.
There's just no need for it.
Exactly. The game's won. You're cruising. And with 10 minutes to go, with 10 men, anything can happen. We've seen what's happened in other games.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's costing the team, and he's doing it consistently. It's happening pretty much every game he features in. It is a problem.
I think he's just
not always get away with it against Chelsea.
Yeah, I think he's just a passionate footballer, which is obviously what we all have to see. But
passion's okay. His aggression's okay. I don't mind the odd yellow card, but you can't excuse like Chelsea, where he literally crunches Fernandes inside the box. The ball gone. What's he doing? It's completely gone. And then that, you know, I appreciate you going to win the ball, but he doesn't need to go that high and that aggressive. We're 3-0 up. You know, we had plenty of cover behind. There's just no need for it for me. But Baz, red card for you and Romero. What do you reckon? Liability?
It's definitely a red card, and it's not because it's high, which one of your lads said there. If it wasn't high, you hit his foot. It's not because of that. It is because Wilson's on the floor. He's not standing up, and he's gone in with aggression. You know, that is the word that he's gone in with intent and aggression to hurt him, really, in a way, by the looks of it, because he catches him with 2 feet. Not just one. His right foot catches his ankle, and then his left foot catches him on the follow through as well. So it's that force, the impact, the intent. It's just silly. I mean, if he's got all the ability in the world, but he has that screw loose, he's a liability. You can't go down the 10 men in the Premier League all the time. It'll kill you.
In the end, it's going to cost you.
This is where VAR is not consistent, and I've said it.
VAR is shocking. So I literally was going to swear there, but I had to stop myself because VAR has ruined football. It really has. I thought it was going to be brilliant after I saw it in the World Cup the first time around, and I thought, yes, we're going to learn from it. We're going to bring it in. It's going to be perfect. And it's just been an absolute...
Well, let's face it, it's a fantastic idea, but it's been used in the wrong way. And I keep saying it's based off opinion and not facts, and it's twisted, it's inconsistent, and people who are using it don't have a clue. It's wrong in so many ways. And for me, you need to sit down and make, for me, 8, 9 changes on it, major changes, or you scrap it at this rate. So as far as I'm
technology is good, it's the people using it that's the problem.
Exactly that. It's the way it's being used. Travis, do you reckon he's a liability? Okay, I'm going to put it out here. Keep or sell Romero?
Keep him.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
People didn't like that I put the question out yesterday, but at the end of the day, if he keeps doing it...
Do you know why? Because then Eric Dyer gets some running, and I'm not going...
That's a fair shout.
You liked Eric Dyer, Travis. I know he's your favourite player.
Terrible.
Yeah. Best not to say anything. Philip, coming to you. Red card for you. And what is Romero doing?
So it's an interesting one. I think when I first saw it, I thought, okay, how did he not get sent off? I watched it in replay. It looks very, very clumsy. Then I read the referee's laws on recklessness and endangerment. And because the words are so vague, it talks about excessive force. And I guess excessive force is now subject to the eye of the beholder. All four of us can see a tackle, and all of us will have a different view on what excessive force is.
Yeah.
I think people are saying, but Wilson's on the floor, and that plays a part in it. But I don't think that's how the referees necessarily are told to look at it. It's football. People are it doesn't matter if the person's on the floor or not. So I think it's just down to whoever saw it as. I think it's the way he does it. Like he's so extremely clumsy and so fast that I think if he got sent off, I don't think VAR challenge it. If he doesn't get sent off, then I think VAR all right, it's hard to overrule, you know. So I think the one on Chelsea was just a step too far because his foot literally went high.
Yeah,
and clipped his.
And although Enzo Fernandez backed out of that, still, my question: why are you going 2 feet in the box?
It's the way he does it. It's the way he does it. Like it just looks, mad clumsy. Like I don't understand why he does it like that. But I think Romero. I do. Apart from that, I do think Romero is an exceptional defender. I think there was some debates among content creators around who's a better player, and I think between him and Saliba, for instance, and I haven't seen I haven't seen all the statistics, but it looks like Romero does lead on a lot of those. It depends on what when people say eye test and stats, and then I think the best way is to be able to merge the two, and then if you still think one is the other, then it might just come down to your own kind of preference. But I think it was, like you said, I don't think it was even necessary to him to make that challenge on that part of the pitch. I think the ball went away. There wasn't any danger. So why even put yourself in a position where you could get sent off? So I always look at it from a point of view. If that was Joe Linton or if that was one of our players, what would I want? What would I want? You'd want the right judgment for it. I can see as much as I'd say, I hope I think I'll be praying for him to stay on for that, but and I'll be thankful that whoever the referee is saw it as okay. It's not too excessive. It's clumsy, but it's not excessive. So I think that's the only thing I can say about it.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Now moving on to player of the match, Travis, give me your player of the match and why.
I'm going to go with Destiny Udogie.
Destiny Udogie, good shout. Baz?
Joe Linton for scoring for the away fans to be able to sing.
Fair enough.
I'm only joking. It was Son for me. I think go back to one of your guys' comments. I think Joe Linton was again very lucky, maybe not to see red or at least get a yellow card for what he did. It wasn't an elbow, so it wasn't dangerous. It was kind of his forearm that went into him. It was like a push, but there was force. And I was thinking, why did he do that? There was no need for that. And that, again, is a situation where he lost his head. So I do understand where Chris is coming from on that, but it wasn't with an elbow, where it point you bit, bang. It was more the forearm push on the back of the neck. It's going to hurt, but you shouldn't be doing it. No. Joe Linton's goal was brilliant. It was nice to be able to jump around a little bit and celebrate. But Son, for me, was fantastic down the left-hand side. Without his pace, ability and skill and awareness, you probably would have seen that game go 0-0 at half-time. He made the difference for me.
He was the difference, absolutely. Thank you. Philip, who is your player of the match? Can be a Newcastle or Tottenham player.
Yeah, I agree with Baz. It was Son. Every time he got on the ball, my stomach was just in absolute bits. I think he was the turning point for you guys. He was the needle mover for you guys and done it really, really well. Definitely Son.
Yeah. Every time he squared Trippier up, I was just like, no, he's by himself. Where's Miggy helping? Why isn't he there?
I think when we're talking, I hope Isak and Gordon take note when we're talking about taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And sometimes they do that. They've had good seasons. When we're talking about just giving that little bit more and working as a forward player for your team, it's not just obviously and they have been playing well, but I hope they took note about what Son did in that game and how I think Eddie Howe wants them to move forward. So, yeah, it was a really good play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you very much. Now I want to move on to the January transfer window and where you just think both teams will be. So when it comes back to you, Baz, so where do you think, I don't want why actually, I just want position-wise, this is tough. Yeah. Where would Newcastle be come 1st of January, position-wise in the table?
Probably top 8.
Okay,
don't know where, but top 8.
Top 8, okay, fair enough. Philip?
Yeah, I think I gave my prediction earlier in the season in terms of points-wise. I predicted in this next batch of games, probably it would be good if we get 12 points. That would put us right now at about by the 1st of January, around 31, 32 points. So that's probably floating between 8th and 6th at this stage. Yeah, so I think 31, 32 points. And hopefully if we manage to stay in both competitions, that'll be exceptional compared to what the level of our injuries and everything else. If I had 4 or 5 of our players, I'll be looking at a lot more points and for the team. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you, Philip. Baz has to go now. He's got his own show. Baz, thank you very much for coming on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, through Black and White Eyes, we're not great. We're not the best, but we are very honest in our opinions. So
always important.
Exactly. If you want to listen to anything about Newcastle, thanks, pal. Philip's on there as well. he loves it. But yeah, if you want to come and listen to some Newcastle banter and you get an honest opinion as you've got tonight, you guys were brilliant. That's what we're like. So we're just football fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a privilege of going on as well before the game. Saturday night. Thank you very much. But take care, Baz, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Guys.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks, Travis. See you soon, Philip.
Yes, sir. Take it
easy. There we go. So, Travis, where do you think we will be? I always ask you this question because you're a regular, I know, but it's for people who aren't on here as well. Where will we be come 1st of January in the table?
Well, I'm not going to make the same comment I did about 5 weeks ago. We will not talk about that.
But win the league. You said that.
Cheers, Alex. Appreciate that. I'm going to go. Hopefully, top 6. I can see us challenging for the FA Cup and obviously the Champions League this year. But we need to have a serious think with what we do in the January transfer window. Only because obviously Maddison's out, Van der Ven's out.
Bentancur.
Yeah, Bentancur, Solomon. and obviously Ryan Sessegnon. I don't know obviously what's going on with Ryan Sessegnon. He's been out for ages. But the last couple of games, you can see how bad I don't really want to say bad, but how we was playing before obviously we had these signings come in, and how much has changed since we bought the likes of James Maddison, Mickey van der Ven, because Mickey van der Ven hasn't put a foot wrong since he come in, and the same with James Maddison. So it'd be nice to have another decent transfer window like we did when we got them guys in, because our squad depth we struggle with massively. To obviously what's on the pitch and what comes on the pitch in regards to substitutions. So I think we need to have a serious think with obviously who we're going to buy to obviously have a better squad depth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get on to January transfer window. Do you know what? Right now. Perfect timing. Look at that. So Travis, if you could, choose what went on in January, realistically, of course, what positions do we need to sign in January and why?
We definitely need one or two more defenders. I know Ben Davies, he's playing well at the moment, but he's probably only got another 2 seasons left in him, maybe 3 at a push. The midfield, he's pretty much sussed, but I would add another one in there, not so much on the wings, but in the middle of the midfield, and definitely one or two strikers. I did see on a Twitter the other day that we've put a bid in for Vlahovic, that currently plays for Juventus, and Andrew said he can see him as Harry Kane's replacement. If Andrew can see him as Harry Kane's replacement, I'm all for it. It's going to take a lot to live up to expectations to replace Harry Kane, but it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, realistically, January is a tough time. Fans don't like to hear it, but it is. It's as simple as that. It is for every team as well. It's hard to get business done. January's often, for players leaving for free end of the season, can they sell them, or they're just not wanted at the club? So you're not going to get the Harry Kanes in January. It's just not going to happen. So for me, realistically, if we can get a strong centre-back and a striker, just 2 players, I'll be very happy with that. Obviously, they've got to be good quality. I think midfield, I'm very confident on midfield. Kulusevski can play there, Gill can play there. When Maddison comes back, when Bentancur comes back, we've got Sarr, got Basuma, is Højbjerg as well, Skip even, who potentially I'll be looking to move out the door in January. However, a lot of them leave. It's around January for the African tournament, AFCON. So potentially bringing a midfielder in is a good idea. I think personally that we'll be able to scrape through okay. But Philip, what do Newcastle need in January and why?
Oh gosh, ideally, had it not been for the Tonali situation and obviously the Pope situation, before those things, we would have probably gone for a right centre-back and for a forward. However, Tonali did happen, Pope did happen. So it's difficult with Newcastle because we don't panic buy no matter what happens. Like last year we were down to 4 midfielders and we were screaming out, fans were saying we need another one because what if one of them gets injured? Not only did we sell a midfielder, but we got a forward instead. So we have the owners have an overall transfer strategy and they'll follow it no matter what. So logic would say, and I think you would say, okay, well, you're missing a midfielder because of Tonali and obviously a goalkeeper because of Pope. So you're probably going to get a goalkeeper and a midfielder plus 2 other players anyway because you need them. But they don't. And apart from our first winter transfer season under the owners, and this is going to be the second one or the third one, we don't like to do massive buys. I'll be amazed if we buy 4 players, but if you can get De Gea, for instance, on a 6-month deal, yes. If you can get Calvin Phillips, they were saying, I still can't believe it's Calvin Phillips because it's just so public. But if you do get a Calvin Phillips on a loan to buy, okay, and then I think we'll then get a forward who can play across the front 3, right, centre or left. I think a right centre back would be nice, but I find it hard for us to buy 4 players in the winter transfer in the winter transfer window.
Yeah, it's so tough as well. Being finding you've got 30, 31 days to get business done, and that's getting players in and out the door, I think, as well, to be able to afford it. But thank you very much for that, Philip. So our next game, before we go on to Newcastle next game, Tottenham have on Friday night Nottingham Forest away. So Travis, talk to me. How are you feeling ahead of that game, and what would your lineup look like in this moment of time? Gerald, talk me through your whole lineup and why. Starting 11.
I wouldn't change the lineup that we had against Newcastle, in all honesty. I wouldn't change a single thing in that. I just want to come off track a little bit. I'm just reading a few comments here from Chris Bolton and Boris Britt.
What comment would you like me to bring up?
Yeah, they're having a conversation about Richarlison. And I think Chris put on here about a new striker, and obviously Sonny going to the Asia Games in January and February. Absolutely spot on. I think if we lose Sonny and we don't have a dependent striker, left wing, obviously where Sonny plays, and obviously given Richarlison's form as of late, apart from yesterday, I think yes, we are going to struggle massively. So that's quite an interesting debate they're having there. But yeah, as I said, I would not change anything from that starting 11 that Ange went with against Newcastle. Obviously,
how are you feeling though, Travis, about ahead of the game? You're going to stick the same lineup, but how are you feeling? Confident?
Yeah, massively confident. I mean, from the way we played against Newcastle last night, if we can stick with that mentality again and just go out there all guns blazing, I think we won't struggle to get 3 points against Forest. Forest aren't really an informed team at the moment, so I think that could be quite an easy 3-point snatch there.
True, but I think they'll be looking for a win to get back on track. You never know.
Yeah,
City are away, they still have a good record there, so we have to see, I guess. Philip, so for Tottenham's next game, how do you think we get on against Nottingham Forest? And if you can give me your score prediction for Tottenham v Forest.
Yeah, I think the only difference is Tottenham got a smaller ground than yours. It's not massively smaller, but I think one of the key aspects of your game is expansive football, stretching the play. So as long as you can continue to move the ball fast, especially in the final third, your one-touch football. In the final third, you'll expose them. I think if obviously Son continues to be on form, which there shouldn't be a reason for him not to be. You'll definitely put the ball away. I back you guys to win 3-0 in that game.
Sounds good to me. I'll take a 3-0 right now. Thank you very much for that. Travis, give me a score prediction and why.
I'm going 3-0 Tottenham.
3-0 Tottenham as well. Wow. I love the positive. Who's going to score, Travis?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Destiny Doggy again. Sorry about that. I'm going with Kulusevski, and I'm going with Pedro Porro.
Fair enough. 3 different scorers, always very handy.
Do you know what? When we was playing against West Ham the other night, when we unfortunately lost, I said to my partner's little boy, I said, Romero is going to score tonight with his head. And he did. If I'd have put bet on that, I could be a millionaire by now.
You could be. Maybe you could earn some money from it. But don't bet on Tottenham in the league, because that backfired, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I never bet. My dad's always told me never bet on your own team, so I never have done.
Nah, fair enough. I wouldn't bet on Spurs anyway. I think it's a very risky game to take. But Newcastle's next game, Philip, is Wednesday, Champions League, home to AC Milan. Can you still get through, do you reckon?
Say that again, sorry?
Do you reckon you can still get through? Do you reckon a miracle can happen?
You have to win. I think we're back at home. So even if we are tired or fatigued, the crowd will push us on. I think having Longstaff back, Longstaff will start from the beginning. And I think Wilson will be on the bench. I understand why people think, well, what's so big about Longstaff? It's hardly Rodri. But for us and for our machine, it works. Exactly. So he makes our tip. I call him our designated driver. So when he plays, Gomeres and Joe Linton can go clubbing, they go party, they can get drunk, and they've got their friend there that's going to take them home safely because he's the one that hasn't drunk. He's so sober in mind. He keeps our position. He keeps our line where it should be. Very, very intelligent, can sniff out danger. He's exceptional for us. And I think Gomeres and Joe Linton feel better in themselves when he's there. And that's no slight on Lewis Miley. He's been incredible for us. 17 years old. He's played against PSG. He's played against Chelsea, against Man United, and he's done fantastically well. But he's 17. He's 17 and he's rest, and it's a good time to have Longstaff back. So I back us to beat Milan. I'm going to go for 2-0. I'm going to go for emotions and just for pure belief. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. It depends.
Where do you think you're finishing in the group? If you don't mind, get your prediction now. It's a 2-0 win, and where you were finishing that?
Yeah, I hope results go our way. Dortmund beat PSG, and we finish second. Or otherwise, at the very least, I want us to at least drop out into Europa. But Champions League is qualification would be the best.
Love the positivity. Travis, give me your score prediction for Newcastle, Milan, and where do you think they'll be in that mini group? The group of death.
Is it Newcastle or Milan?
Newcastle, St James's. Yeah, St James's.
Do you know what? That place is a fortress. When them fans get going, they've got to be some of the best fans in the league. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go 3-1 Newcastle.
Newcastle, love it. And where do you think that'll place them in that little group, Travis? And because obviously the Dortmund and PSG result, do you reckon they get through?
Yeah, I honestly hope they do. You know, they were so unlucky in the PSG game. You know, in the last minute for them to get that penalty. You know, they really did give PSG a run for their money, and that takes a lot. You know,
I'll tell you what. At this moment in time, both Tottenham and Newcastle are better than PSG. Both Tottenham and Newcastle are better than PSG at this time.
Yeah, I agree at the moment. That's sense of it. So there you go.
Yeah. Newcastle. I honestly hope they do well, and I really hope they do qualify and get a lot further in the Champions League because they are a good side.
They are. It's good for them to see them back in the Champions League. Wonder if they can stay there. Top question for you both. Firstly, Travis, how many points will we get for our next 4 Premier League fixtures? For anyone who doesn't know, guests and chat, our next 4 Premier League fixtures as follows: Forest away, Everton at home, Brighton away, and Bournemouth at home New Year's Eve. Travis, how many points are you getting from those 4 games?
Who's the last game? Sorry, did you say Bournemouth?
Bournemouth at home.
I'm going. Who's the team before that?
So we've got Forest away is the first game, Everton at home, Brighton away, then Bournemouth at home.
6 points.
6 points? Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Does you reckon there'll be a loss in there then, or?
Against Brighton, we always struggle against Brighton.
Fair enough. We done all right last season. Pretty sure we done the job.
Yeah, they're one of them teams, though, aren't they? They're one of them teams. They all come out all guns blazing and go for it, or they just sit off. So yeah, they're one of them teams, as I like to call them.
Fair enough. For me, I'm looking at it here. I think Forest is only a point. I think Everton 3 points. That's 4. Brighton, I think we lose. We stay on 4. I think we beat Bournemouth, so 7 points, I think. But some will say more. I've seen 12 suggested. Philip, how many points do you think Tottenham are getting from our next 4 games?
I think you're more likely to beat Forest than you are to beat Everton at this stage. Everton are on a crusade. They are absolutely up for it. I don't know if you saw the Chelsea game, but they've got a lot of things. That whole thing with the Premier League, they are doing their best to shake their fist at the Premier League.
They've reacted really well, but they're away from home. I think it's at home that they're very good, personally.
Oh, so they're playing you at your ground?
Yeah, Everton is at our ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're probably looking at 7 points, 7 to 9 points.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if you win all 3, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you win all 3. I didn't think in our game that you guys would be able. I remember one of the things I mentioned was that I didn't think you would rely on your wingers, who I didn't think were going to be that quality, but it looks like they're raising their game. but I don't think you'll also be able. When you had Maddison, with Maddison, you're able to zip the ball into the middle, and Son was either able to turn around and shoot or pass it off to the wingers, which made your attack so unpredictable. But you did it with Son going across, or even Lo Celso. So I was like, okay, if you can still do it, then you're even more dangerous. So I wouldn't be surprised if you win all 3 games, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. I hope you're right. Now on to the questions that people put forward for the podcast on Twitter this morning. So thank you all for your patience. I believe in the chat live on YouTube, we've got a question earlier from Ben. So big up, Ben, if you are still listening. I think it's to do with Callum Wilson here. It is. Opinions on Callum Wilson's comments and the hypocrisy surrounding it. Yeah, Philip, what do you make of, I don't know if you've seen it, Callum Wilson's comments?
No, you'll have to give me a quote.
Yeah, I actually haven't got a quote with me here. So basically, to give you some context, it was to do with, guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it's to do with basically Vicario and the whole laughing.
Yeah.
It was about Vicario showing him a lack of respect. Vicario then responded later on Instagram saying, you know, he doesn't give respect to people who don't show him respect. So it's crazy, isn't it?
Look, I like this part of football. It adds a lot of because I hope Vicario, when he stuck his tongue out, remembered, I've got to go back to St. James's. That's going to be incredible. So I love it. I think Callum should just, I think the better answer would have been, look, we'll take it. You know, I'm sure we wasn't all, you know, humble in victory. We won 6-1 at St. James's Park. I'm sure we wasn't. Or when we won 2-1 last season. You know, so I think give it. I think, just, you know, get on with it. It's part of the game. You know, Vicario is a young man. He hasn't really. He's happy. His team hasn't won in 5 games. Should he show respect? Yeah, but then I think he'll get his comeuppance and let it be. Essentially, it's all a bit of nothing. Handbags.
Yeah, fair enough. A little bit of banter on the football pitch. Interesting stuff. It's what makes football, I suppose. It differentiates it from any other sport. Very, very interesting. Track Racing, I'm going to give the next question to you from Leo. So, big up Leo. I hope you said your name correctly. If you are listening, Leo says, with Son playing for his country between January and February, is it time for Ange to give a young striker a go? Someone like Mikey Moore alongside Richarlison, like a new strike force. What do you reckon, Travis?
Not at the moment, no.
No. So okay, let me rephrase that question slightly differently. So between January and February, you don't know how long it's for because it's on how, you know, where they get knocked out. But Son is away for international duty. Who, you know, would you play Richarlison like up front? Who would you play? What would your front three look like without Son?
I'd go with Kulusevski, Sonny.
Because we both agreed that Kulusevski isn't very good in that front three. He's better than number 10 in midfield.
Yeah, he's better in the middle, but obviously, I would probably change it for a little while. I'd put Kulu in the middle, and I'd put James Maddison in Sonny's position. But I just want to read out a comment here that someone's put on here. Same Callum Wilson who laughed about Richarlison suffering mental health issues and injuries. That sort of behaviour needs to be addressed. There's absolutely no room for that within football, let alone the outside world. I
think it's to do with the podcast that Richarlison and Callum Wilson were on. I think that was ongoing. I can't comment exactly because I don't know exactly what was said, but I know there was a lot of stick, a lot of banter.
I get the stick, and I get the banter. You know, it's absolutely brilliant to see on Twitter. Obviously, as long as it doesn't get personal. But when it comes to mental health, it's a completely different kettle of fish, and there's absolutely no room for that whatsoever. So I think that needs to be addressed from Eddie Howe, and I would probably, if I was him, I'd ban him for a good couple of games. In all honesty, and take him off of social media. Obviously needs to grow up a little bit, but you know I won't get too much into it because I'll start getting upset. While with the front three, absolutely stick Kulu in the middle for a little while and put Maddison in Sonny's position, and I think he'll hit the road running. I really do.
Don't think. I know what you mean, Travis, but now it's looking like Maddison's about mid-February. So, what do you do?
Yeah,
do you look to the youth academy? For me, you do personally.
Yeah, I mean, from given our recent management, no, apart from Poch, no one's really ever given the youngsters a go. So yeah, depending where we are in the season at that current time, yeah, give them. Is it Donnelly? Is he the striker? Is it Jamie Donnelly?
I think Donnelly's a midfield. I think Mikey Moore was a name that was mentioned.
Oh, I've never even heard of him. Unfortunately, I've never heard of him.
He's only 16 though, but there is more in the youth academy. Donnelly's doing very well, but I think he's a midfielder. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it's great to see him obviously coming on.
The thing is, we can't really comment on our youth because obviously I don't really watch much of the under 21 games or anything like that. I know obviously they're on Tottenham Spurs TV.
Tell you what, the future is bright though. The youth academy does look good.
Yeah, I mean Oliver Skipp, he come through the ranks and obviously then he got sent to Norwich on loan and absolutely done superb there. They won a cup. Can't remember what cup it was, but they won a cup. And all the Norwich fans and
would have been the championship, wouldn't it? The championship title.
The championship, was it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, and a lot of the players, management, and even Norwich supporters were saying Oliver Skipp is a very good footballer, and he
if they like $5 million, they can have him.
Yeah, and he is a good footballer. He doesn't really get much chance on the pitch, obviously, given the starting level with Bentancur, Bissouma, and Sarr. But I think he plays well when he comes on. But yeah, we have got options there. Obviously, when Sonny leaves, but we do need to have a serious think in the transfer window of obviously who we're going to buy as a serious striker. As Chris Bolton has put there, go and buy Ivan Toney. Absolutely, I'd have Ivan Toney at Tottenham all day long.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Travis. Philip, I'll give the next question to you. Is Spurs related from Thomas, who says, after hearing strong rumours about Richarlison to Saudi, from a neutral fan kind of point of view, do you think Tottenham should sell him? If so, how much for?
I think if selling Richarlison is the answer, what's the question? And the question is, do Tottenham see a better upgrade that is available to them?
Yeah.
If there is, then it's then go for it. Obviously, you need 3 people to be satisfied with the move. You need Richarlison, you need the buying club, and as well as obviously Tottenham with the price, the selling club, to be happy with that. So if the question is, we've got a player that is there that is an upgrade to Richarlison, and Richarlison's ready to go, then sure, do it. But if you haven't, then keep him.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Travis, I'll ask this question to you from Things Hotspurs to pick up. Mate, if you are listening, hopefully get you back on the show sometime soon. Things Hotspur says, would you have Calvin Phillips in January, Travis?
Yes, I would.
Thank you very much.
For squad
Philip,
depth,
would you as a Newcastle fan?
So I didn't hear that. It broke up there for me. Sorry.
That's fine. Would you take Calvin Phillips at Newcastle?
That's a great question because at the moment, all the rumours seem to be that it's almost like a done deal at the moment. But I find it hard to believe that it's so public. Would I have Calvin Phillips? I think the usual answer is, if it's the Calvin Phillips of Leeds, yes, please.
Yeah.
If it's the Calvin Phillips for that play for Man City against Wolves, no, thank you. So I'll have the Calvin Phillips that came from Leeds, but I've got a lot of the only reason if we get Calvin Phillips is that we have a lot of trust in Eddie Howe. He's turned Joe Linton into a Brazilian international. He's turned so many other players into absolute great players for us. Anthony Gordon, people were saying 45 million. Now they're saying, it looks like 45 million is worth it. So yes, I'll back if we indeed go for him, then I think that means Howe and the rest of the team back themselves to get him back into form. And why not? And it makes financial sense for us as well, especially for a loan to buy.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah.
Travis, good question from Stephen here. It's certainly got me thinking. Stephen says, if we were to sign a winger in January, with Maddison being back and competing with Kulusevski in the middle for the number 10 role, does it mean for you that Giovanni Lo Celso is sold in January?
Yes, and I think I feel sorry for Gio. I really do. You know, he had a blinding game against Manchester City, and that's the best I've ever seen him play, to be fair. But I don't think he's built for the Premier League. I think he'll light the place up at a Spanish club.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last question I give to you, Travis, because it's a Tottenham-related question. And I've already asked Philip this. Would you keep or sell Richarlison? And how much time would you give him, Travis?
I'd keep him, and I'd give him till next year.
You give him till next year? Yeah, I'd probably give him to the end of the season. But, you know, we want to be in Europe. We need that squad depth for me. So I don't plan to sell him anytime soon. But I've always said Saudi Arabia come in 60, 70, 80 million. You can't turn that down and reinvest the money elsewhere and go buy over Tony.
You're not getting 60, 70 million from him.
I can't sit up to Saudi Arabia here. You never know. Well, we paid 50 million for him, so you know how much you're going to get back for him. But we worry about that nearer the time. But that is it for this week's episode. Massive thank you to everyone who tuned in. Massive thank you to my three guests, two of them with me now, Bez as well. Travis, regular on the show now. Where can people find you?
Yeah, another great show and an absolute pleasure to meet you, Philip.
Yes, sir. You too.
Good to meet different fans. You can find me on Twitter at officialcaster. I am on Instagram and I am also on Facebook. But why I am here, I just want to do a shout out to Harry himself and also Barney. There's been a lot on social media recently, Twitter, about what you do with obviously neurodiversity and autism. And I say it every podcast, but I read through some of the stuff you tweet, and that what you two guys do is just absolutely phenomenal. And I really do hope you go places with what you both do together. It's brilliant. And if anyone is listening and you are struggling, then please just reach out to people, because you've got good guys like Harry and Barney who will be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you very much for the kind words, Travis. I didn't expect that, so thank you very much. It's very, very kind of you. And absolutely, like everyone says, you know, you need help, just talk to someone. It sounds easy, but it's the best thing to do. I'm always here to listen. We know, you know that I'll make time as a podcast, as a channel, to discuss mental health. Philip from Toon Tactics TV, thank you very much for coming on. Tell me about where people can find you and your channel.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just search me up on YouTube at Toon Tactics TV, on Twitter, Toon Tactics TV again at Toon Tactics TV, TikTok. Can't remember all the acronyms. Just search Toon Tactics TV and Instagram as well. So yeah, just to look out for us. Really, thank you for the invite, Harry. Again, thank you for the welcome, Travis. Incredible stuff. Really enjoyed being here, guys.
Absolute pleasure to have you on. Looking forward to getting you on the reverse fixture if you are free. Reminder, if you're on each channel and podcast, don't forget to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, turn the notifications bell on to keep up to date with all my content. If you are listening on any other podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcast platforms, don't forget to give us a follow and 5-star review, and check it out, because I'm currently working with a company about bringing some Scarfey Spurs Talk potential kits, Spurs designed as well. So stay tuned. And now time for Post Copy Baby. As we always say on this channel, very sorry, Philip, up the Spurs.
You were working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. Ange, Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. Ange, Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou. car glue, baby. Pass the car glue.